right, everybody. So I have Craig Manning on the line. How are we doing today, Craig? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So you are part of, now you do solo stuff, but you also are part of the Blackboard Blues Band, right? I know I can see you if I'm on their site, and you're right at the very end to the right if anybody wants to go check you out. So, but you and I met, and this show is all for creatives. Anybody that's looking to maybe take their talent, the way we have. For me, it's caricatures. For you, it's music. And make a career of it, whether it's part-time or full-time, whatever they want to do. People are always, it's just to give people inspiration and ideas. So tell us how you got into music. How did you start your career? Okay. Oh, yeah. Right. 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 Oh. Okay. Okay. I was a drummer in high school too, and I wish I kept going on that because I really enjoyed that. And I thought you had to learn to read music, so I stopped because I was not a fan of education back then, anyways. But it's good to see you start out. So you started out as a drummer, and when we met, you were playing ukulele. So I'm interested to hear how it went from there. Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. Right. Right. Right, right, right. And I mean, you and I met at an event. So I've got to tell because it's funny now. You play ukulele and you're nursing a broken. Is it a broken shoulder you got right now that you're nursing? So was that trying to do a Pete Townsend windmill on a ukulele? Is that how you got to there, or how did you get the shoulder? Okay. Oh, oh, no, wow. Okay, I had pictures in my mind. I remember when you first put it on Facebook or whatever that you had it. I'm going, man, was he swinging that hard that he took his shoulder? So is there? So now ukulele, there's not, if I said, okay, which instrument do you want to pick up as a musician? I don't think a whole lot of people are going to say ukulele right out of the gate. So Did you find is that a benefit or a hindrance in a music career to play something kind of odd and out of the box there? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah, and you're not the first musician I've seen. I've got a very good friend who's a music very talented, plays a number of instruments, and his big thing is the accordion. He loves the accordion. He does gigs kind of like what you were doing when we met. Going to retirement homes or what have you. But he's known as a keyboard artist and very good singer and plays guitar. And you kind of always go the accordion. It's not the first thing that you think of, right? So that's cool that you've made a name, and you were very talented on it. I must say, I watched you through the window at the event, so I saw your performance, and it was very good, very entertaining, and very popular songs. Normal songs that you wouldn't maybe associate with the ukulele. Maybe it's because you play it like a guitar, like you say, right? Yeah. Yeah, and you must specialize them towards the event as well because we had an older audience where we were in a retirement home, but everybody knew them. They were singing along. I could hear them having a good time. So, is that one of the tricks to? I think a lot of bands probably always play their own set or what have you. Do you find that picking for the audience is probably a better way to go as far as music? Right. Yeah. Right. So you have a pretty strong. It sounds like you have a pretty strong solo career going as well, because the band was not with you, and then you also play in the band. Do you want like one better than the other, or is it just filling time when the band's not on the road, or how did that evolve? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right, right. Well, you do. You certainly do. You certainly do a good job. So how have you been doing music your whole life? Was this your whole career? I'll say it's been music. Right, right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Right. Well, that's great. And I think a lot of people go through that, and we don't really recognize it. You know, where a musician may say, "Well, you know, I'm playing," and then they get burnt out, and they don't really want to do that many shows. Maybe they go into some other career or what have you. It's okay to go back and forth, and that's what I've been doing my whole career. I find I go, you know, I started the trucking industry, and now I'm still in that industry as far as training and speaking, but I'm not driving anymore. So would you say there's the opportunity? Is there the opportunity to have a full time career in music, whether it's part of a band or solo? Would you? Yeah, yeah, right. Yes, and that's the one I think everyone you have to get I think you have to get a certain age to realize that, and you go, you know, the corporate stuff may not get me where it might make you the money, but it may not fulfill other needs. Where I think the arts and you know, certainly for myself anyway. So how did you find? So I don't know if you're marketing yourself. It sounds like you know you're pretty established. Is there any marketing tips you'd have for a musician or another artist that's maybe, you know, we all think, oh yeah, we'll get on Facebook or what have you, but that doesn't always work, right? Like, what's been the thing that's really gotten your name through your career? Yeah, right, yeah, right, 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 yeah, yeah, right, yeah, yeah. That's right. Yeah. And it's so true. And you know who did that? Garth Brooks did that. I think probably last year. There was a show where there was a cancer. Somebody who just had beaten cancer and had made her way to the show, and he went off stage, and it was I can't remember the whole thing, but it was a big production. I don't know if he gave her a hat or, but it ended up the same thing. And I've had that even as a caricature artist, and I wrote an article as one of the best tips I ever got was I gave a picture to somebody and actually made the little girl, you know, cry. I don't know. I think it was because I put her and her grandmother in it or something like that. And she came up and gave me this big hug. You could not pay me enough. That felt so good to, you know, pay somebody like that as far as make them that happy. And that's what I've always loved about music. Art, I always feel I can reach people, but I can only reach people one at a time. Whereas music, you can reach a whole stadium at the same time. Yeah. 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 Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I find a lot of performers. I actually try to do that at my caricature events. I have what I call a selfie cam, which is basically a camera. And so after I draw the picture, I have them hold it up. I take a picture with them. Well, when it's the bride and groom and stuff, I'll run in the background and be in the back of the picture with them and all those kind of things. And it makes it fun. It makes it more of an entertaining environment. And they remember those things. You know, there's nothing about the picture. They get the picture later, but it's that moment that you're trying to create, which I've been trying to do myself. So it's wonderful. Yeah. Wow, wow. And it sounds like making those moments, that's what's got your career. You've done how'd you know to start doing that? Did that happen by chance where you just said, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to just make that person feel better." You notice something in the audience, or have you over time strategic like you said you're looking for them, but how did you start that? You probably didn't know at the very beginning that that's what you wanted to do, or maybe you did. I don't know, is that part of the event? Right. Yeah. Yeah. Great. Yeah, no, that's amazing, and I think it's a real balancing act. You can go too far. I've seen bands where they're. I always say if the band is having a good time on stage, I usually am having a good time on stage. I like that banter sometimes when they stop and just talk, with the crowd or however that works. But some bands will either not do that or do it too much. There is a very big balance. Like I really don't like when a band lets the crowd sing three songs. I mean, the odd verse or something or the odd song, but I didn't come to hear the crowd. I came to hear the band. So there's a very. So do you find that is there any time when that's worked against you trying that without getting yourself in trouble? No. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, It's worked fine. It's just I've seen bands where and as you would know as well as a public speaker, engaging the audience is part of a good performance. You've got to get the audience engaged. A lot, I think, as a musician, if you play good music and people know your music, that's kind of done for you. But some try very hard, and it's good and bad. I've seen both ways. I've seen it where it works perfectly, and I've seen it where it's in my mind gone horribly wrong. But that's up to the performer themselves. So if you were starting out, let's say your season, let's say you were starting out today, and I know marketing is a little different today, but what would you tell your younger self if you were starting as a musician today? What is it, now that you can look back and say, what would you tell yourself as here's what you need to do to be successful? Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. Right, right. How much of your career has been the business side? This is one thing that a lot of people, I know I have a lot of art friends who will spend all day drawing and they're awesome artists, but they can't build a business. And I've had Grenville Pinto. I don't know if you know Grenville. He's from the Toronto area here. He goes by G Pinto. He's a violinist, very, very talented. And he says 90% of his time is spent marketing and the other 10% is the music. Did you find the same thing through your career? Yeah, great. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a science, and it's always that's what I like about business. You've got to be creative because it's changing daily. And if you rest on your laurels, it comes back to bite you, or you go out of business. Either way. Well, Craig, how can we learn more about the band, yourself or the band? Where would people go to learn more about you guys? Okay, okay. Well, that's great. I will put that in the show notes so people can just click through. Thank you so much, my friend, for being on. You were just an absolute pleasure to talk with, and I'm so glad we connected at that event. And I know you were busy and I was busy, and we were both trying to kind of get out of there at the same time. And I wish we had more time to talk, but so I'm glad we had a chance to chat today for sure. Thank you very much. Thanks, Craig. That was